Howdy folks, it's Johan, your favorite little ink blob, back at it today with some more murders at Karlov Manor. Yay! I think that's the first time I've actually had a halfway easy time not saying Markov Manor. So, we've got another lovely premiere draft up and coming for you today. First though, real quick, I was checking. Unfortunately, not one of those lovely gem or coin days, but there are stickers. Somehow did not see those earlier. Don't think I'm picking them up right now, but you know, that was something that was mentioned a while back of, oh, are there not stickers for this set? Apparently there are. Um, events. Premiere draft murders at Karlov Manor. Alright. Well, yesterday we got our first 7-win run, and that was even seeing a Massacre Girl in Pack 2, so seems that that curse only applies if you actually take the Massacre Girl and hope for her to do anything. So, let's crack on in. Waiting. There we go. Now we just gotta say ready up, and then we'll be there. Need to come up with some sort of great little bit, some sort of like little song or something, while we're waiting for folks to queue on up, and holy shoot. That is a cryptic coat. Fantastic. Little aggressive, true name Nemesis, essentially. Just attack in for 3 unblockable, and with the ward, pretty hard to kill a lot of the time, and you can bounce it on back. Fugitive Codebreaker, I have gotten wrecked by a little bit, but I don't think is better than the Cryptic Coat. This fits very nicely into the Azorius Detective archetype, which has done very well for me. Speaking of, so blue, Hotshot Investigators is pretty good top end. Absolving Lamassu seemed pretty nice to me yesterday. Novice Inspector, I think, is a very good aggressive low drop. Griffnot Tracker, I think, is pretty good middle of the game. Plus, the Graveyard Hate is fantastic, I find. But I think we'll go with the Absolving Lamassu. It's an uncommon, less likely to see it around again, and I think it is, again, pretty darn good. Love the 4-power flyer, that also does some other shenanigans and some life gain. Crime Stopper Sprite has done very well for us, especially in this more tempo-y strategy. Out Cold looks like it would do pretty well. I still have not had an occasion to use it, but kind of biased against tap spells, so that might just be because I haven't been given it a fair chance. But we will absolutely go with the Crime Stopper Sprite here. Crovod Haunch, I have not had a chance to make work, but it feels so similar to Bone Splitter to me. Plus, it has the upside of the life gain plus doggos, so really want to try making it work. We could also pivot, go either Demir or Esper, because Slice is a fantastic removal spell. Burden of Proof, we don't actually have all that many detectives right now, so I don't think that's a great pickup at the moment, but that is great for some tempo plays. Due Diligence, I think, is also very good on the beatdown, but I want to take that Crovod Haunch and see if we can make things work. Double Slice from the Shadows. Whoever is in black is having a fantastic time right now. Airtight Alibi, I don't think we will. We could do On the Job. We aren't typically going very wide in this deck. I don't think that's amazing. It does kind of sort of replace itself, but I'm going to speculate on a Slice from the Shadows here. We aren't too committed to our picks, even though I have a tendency to kind of feel that way. Undercity Eliminator has done some very good things for me. Oh, the Puzzle Knot. Okay, cute. But I like the Sanguine Savior. Works well if we do go into black, but we can also disguise out. So technically playable if we kept with just the blue-white deck. Mistveil Plains. Wow, I have not seen that before. Put a card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Activate only if you control 2 or more white permanents. Intriguing. Repeat Offender has been absolutely fantastic for me, but I think we do... Man, we have been seeing some amazing black. I think we do take it, and we might be looking more at white-black because there has not been a lot of great blue coming around. I feel real sad if we aren't playing that Mystic Coat, but... And then we get a Cold Case Cracker and another Crime Stopper sprite. I think we go with the Cold Case Cracker. So we've got some options. I feel a little bit stressed out about it because, again, play boosters have like 2 fewer picks, higher quality stuff, but draft feels like it ends a lot sooner than I'm used to. Boom, boom, boom. Fester Leech. Probably. Oh, Seasoned Consultant. I'm blind, but amazing. Love that. Yeah, I mean, Equip 2 is not that expensive, and a 2-power boost can be quite significant. Hesta Vigilante versus a Hotshot Investigators. I think the Investigators is probably better. We just get to straight up bounce something. At this point, I will absolutely take it on the job. Don't think it's an amazing pickup, but we will take it. Unauthorized exit, some lovely, lovely bounce. That also lets us dig a bit. Happy with that. Second on the job. Definitely will not be playing 2, I think. Coveted Falcon, I don't think is that good. Ansrag's Rampage. Not what we're doing, but do love the Mole God. You T-pose, big little man. We have a Surveillance Monitor. Not a lot of Collect Evidence, but it makes a 1/1. It's a 3/3 body. It's a detective. I think we take it. Because otherwise, I don't think Coveted Falcon. Wrench was doing some good stuff for us. Behind the Mask could be, but it's a little expensive to support the kind of removal-esque aspect. And Out Cold, again, not my jam. Prophet's Eidetic Memory, we could pick up number 4. Long Goodbye. Again, fantastic, but I don't think what we're doing. Inside Source would also be a great pickup here. But I do think I will take the Prophet's Eidetic Memory, since I haven't really had a chance to pop off with it. We don't have a fantastic amount of Investigate, but it draws a card, it puts a 1/1 counter on something, and sometimes you get incidental value. I like it, I want to see it. I want to see it do great things. There's the Projector Inspector, which works mighty well with the Eidetic Memory, and lets you do a lot of filtering and triggers other stuff in the detective deck. There is also a Museum Night Watch, which I think is quite good, but I will scoop up the Projector Inspector here because of the synergies, and it's a little lower on the curve. Call a Surprise Witness, so we get something back as a flyer. Not seeing anything else that we're probably taking here, other than maybe Value Draft, the Rampage, but I think we take this. We've got a lot of sub-3 drops. We have some number of sub-3 drops, but we can get something back. It's kind of sort of acting as a creature. And Market Watch Phantom, I think, is also great. 2/2 flyer, and it's one that you actually want to play out on turn 2, which feels kind of rare in this format. So so Flying Man, that you can spend a lot of mana to get a single artifact, a single clue. I think we will take the second Market Watch Phantom for the beatdowns. Get a leg up. If we were green, I think is a lot better than I had been realizing. I did not realize that it gives reach, and oh boy, have I realized that green needs reach in this set. Fuss and Bother we could take. I think I will. We've got the base white that both of those are, and we can also cast the top end one for the blue. Vigilante, I think, is just fine. Great 3/1/1 colorless Thopters. Okay. And a combat trick, that may actually get in. That's a fine modal card. Wrench, however, I think might be better. I love the Vigilance and being able to do aggressive tapping. Guess it doesn't really matter, so we'll take the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Discard spell that we probably will not play, because we are pretty happily in blue and white at this point. Got 17 playable cards, although the Savior is a little awkward, so I'll pull it on out of there. We are looking at 10 creatures and 6 non-creature. Case of the Crimson Pulse, a lot better than I was originally thinking in Limited. I don't know why. I guess I just see pitching resources and go, nope, that's got to be some sort of constructed deck. Inside Source, fantastic. I would love it, but I think Private Eye is where it's at. We currently have 8 detectives, so pretty sick. And we do have some draw card synergies, which can make it an even scarier Lord. Ooh, Kellen. Kellen seems very sweet. Just 3/4 flying vigilance that also has some extra value stapled on for 4. Fantastic. I don't think we can splash green here, and we have a second Private Eye. We are kind of removal light, but we're also kind of creature light. But I think a second Private Eye, a second Lovely Lord will probably do wonders for us. Karlov Watchdog, I think very good in the aggressive beatdown deck, which we are. Granite Witness was also doing a lot of good work for us the other day, although we did have 3 of them. But I think I will take this Karlov Watchdog, since I haven't actually gotten to play with it an awful lot, just been on the other end of it. Dramatic Accusation, I think, is the kind of removal we're looking for. I have not had a chance to play the White Exile one, but I think the Accusation will work. Our 3 slot is a little bit heavy, but that is okay, and I think how this format kind of always is. So we could take another Crime Stopper Sprite, get another lovely flyer in there, or we could take the other Seasoned Veteran, or Seasoned Consultant, which I think is probably going to be better for our curve. Still a detective, so still fantastic. Here, I guess we take Behind the Mask, even though I don't think we're going to play it. Almost certainly not going to play the second Wrench. Third Seasoned Consultant might be a bit much, but is playable. Could take the third Market Watch Phantom, but I think we go with the Cold Case Cracker number 2. Flying is quite good in this, and we get the Inside Source back. Very happy to see that. We are into making cuts. I know where you always want to be. Benthic Criminologists, we might, but I think we're okay without that kind of top end, especially since we don't have a lot of value off of its draw card ability. I think we're just really hoping that we wheel that Detectives, but that might have already flown. Definitely not the second Criminologists. Do, monkey. Oh, I hadn't heard the monkey before. Did not wield the gargoyle. This is alright. I think our deck is certainly weaker than it was yesterday, but I think it's still looking pretty decent. I do think we cut probably the criminologists, and then probably something from our 2 or 3 slot. Let's look at our creature distribution. Okay, not terrible. The Call a Surprise Witness does get back both of our lords and some other important pieces. I do actually like that. It's fairly cheap redundancy and can make it even scarier. Realistically, it should probably be one of our pieces of equipment, I think. But I think the Crowvad Haunch is probably better than the Wrench. Wrench is quite solid, though. I think I'm going to try going down a Wrench, and let's see what we can do with the Crowvad Haunch. We might, depending on how things run, switch that out later. But for now, we'll give that a shot. Actually, I should have... Oh, right. No, Alquist Proft does not have an avatar, but we've got Teferi, we've got the little agency Thopter, and we can have Proft on our sleeves. We shall be the Magnificent Detective. Fantastic. And the classic variation of Get a Clue. I think this will be alright. Not fantastically confident, but I think it will do stuff and things. Fuss and Bother. I guess that is one that I immediately pulled out, but might... Fuss seems quite good. I'm not sure we're going wide enough. And it can turn into 3 flyers, that helps us dig. But I think we've got a good balance right now. We'll see. We might try it later. But for now, we're gonna run it like this. Alrighty. First match coming on up. Gesver. Sounds like someone that would be a fancy little artificer living off on their own. I think this is a pretty decent curve. Haunch into Consultant, into Private Eye, and then probably equip Haunch or do something else by then. I like it. I feel like the turn 1 Haunch is kind of declaring your intentions. I think we do the Phantom instead. It's got 1 extra point of power and can trigger and fly over if they had a 2-drop. But we get to Private Eye on curve, and then next turn we hopefully get to Seasoned Consultant, make it fly, equip Haunch, and go to town. Oh no! Got helixed. Unfortunate, but we will survive. I think we actually play... No, that's thinking to make it attack for getting the 3 creatures down, but I think we save it so that we can fly next turn. And we're still getting in... I think we're only behind 2 points of damage that way, plus we actually have a chance to fly over. So, losing 2 points of damage because we aren't getting the... So, we get 2 extra this turn, but if we had both of these, we could be attacking for an additional 4 next turn. Well, and unfortunately, the flying does not do what we were hoping it would. However, we do get a Private Eye, so that we can attack on through quite comfortably. That seems probably for the best. I assume this is being played just for the fixing. Okay, 4-3 Vigilance. On the right side, we get to simply tap that down, 2 for 1. And I guess we will play it out, but we are hitting for an awful lot. Okay. Blue-white. Able to just crundle on in. Yikes. So I remember Streets of New Capenna, people were saying blue-white, you know, best archetype. And then people started drafting way too much of it, and I had a lot more success with black-red. So I don't think, Peter, I don't think there's necessarily a meta, sorry, of course there's a meta. I don't think there's necessarily a best deck at any point, because I think it kind of self-regulates, but I do think that in sets that support a more creature-heavy blue-white, I think it's very powerful, because it often ends up very tempo-y. A lot of limited games are kind of about that. This is a very sketchy keep, but I think we will run it and hope that we draw the extra lands. Wow, I could not for the life of me click hello there. This is very sketch, though. Very fancy lands. I'm not the biggest fan of the art itself, but the bordering on it is gorgeous. And I mean, it's not like the art in there is bad. It's quite beautiful, just there are ones that I prefer, but the border is fantastic. The blue one is somewhat reminiscent of like the old blue borders. The green one feels a little bit less. I understand why they changed and made them much cleaner without adding all of the patterns to them, but am a little sad. It did feel very flavorful. Okay, running out the bear. I mean, it's a triad, but we know the nomenclature. Hopefully turn 3 Inspector, and turn 4 Consultant Equip. Probably not drawing. Jump check. We'll try blocking. Okay, the Gadgeteer. Investigate. Artifact. Activate abilities of artifacts you control. Okay, that can get out of hand, but we aren't doing a whole lot to respond at the moment. Do not think we draw the card. We don't get much value off of it, and I kind of want everything in my hand. I guess I could probably pitch either the Phantom or Consultant, but I don't feel a pressing need to at the moment. I'm not sure what I would pitch. I think these are all quite good here. We'll block that, and I mean, there's probably a combat trick here, but I will try blocking their insane value engine. Okay. It was a combat trick indeed. But if that's their whole turn, I'm kind of alright with that. We'll be developing out another Seasoned... Ooh, yes. So we'll do Seasoned Consultant and Market Watch Phantom. And then next turn, if we draw a land, we get to Eye and Haunch. That sounds so weird. I do think we hold back, because then we can double block the Gardener this way. But I think even if we just Eye, our board suddenly we can attack in for 4/4/3. So 11 damage. That gets intimidating quite quickly. Like, our board does not look too terrifying the way it is now, but that can very quickly change. I think we're okay just taking 2 here. I think we crack back for a whole lot more. Yeah, even with that. Okay. Zippity zoom. Then next turn we can haunch and phantom, perhaps. Interesting double block. We will surely kill the eavesdropper. I mean, like, that works. I think I'm very fine with that trade. Because we do not get that trade on our defense, and you can attack in for a fair bit more. Unfortunately, I don't think the Market Watch Phantom actually triggers the other Market Watch Phantom now, because I believe this is going to be taking effect as soon as it enters the battlefield. However, I have not done a whole lot of judging. I say a whole lot. I have not done any judging. So my knowledge of the rules is a bit sparse, and timestamps and layers and all that good stuff, but I'm fairly certain this will be 3 power when it enters, and thus we don't get the flying. However, I still think a 3/3 attacker is quite respectable on this board. Especially if we suit it up. We probably don't attack with the private eye. Okay. Howdy, Cholera. How's it going this fine morning? Fine day, I suppose. Ooh, we will make our private eye unable to be blocked, so that we can actually crack on in. Yes, that's what I was realizing, and why I amended as quickly as I could. So this will attack as a 4/4, so actually we probably just do... So it attacks as a 4/4, we put a counter on it, and then, yeah, let's equip up the haunch onto the phantom. But, so, how is your day going? This way we 2-for-1 for sure with anything they try and block with. Although they probably just chump. Ah. Such days happen. But, hopefully, being here with my amazing and winning personality can make it a bit better. Nothing much happened so far. Super fair. Well, hopefully, slow days can still be good, though. Get some reading done, get to chill out. Get to watch some magic. We're currently 1-0 with this. We had a very good beatdown the first game. Yep, they are double blocking. Yes! What? Me? Somewhat disingenuous and self-deprecating? Who would have guessed? Okay, I assume they've got some sort of pump spell. +2/+2, right? Yep. So we still get to kill that. That's still a 2-for-1. Oh, and I looked it up yesterday, because I too thought that plebiscite was a noun. But it didn't quite sit right. I'm like, it's something to do with plebeians. Plebiscite apparently is the vote that gets taken by the plebeians, so I was a vote. But hey, you know, being democracy in action could be pretty sweet, even though Athenian democracy was somewhat debatable, if you want to call it democracy overall. So the plebeians, or the plebs, were the ones who would call a plebiscite, apparently. Again, I I thought the way you did until I went to look it up to double check. Yeah, no, Greek can be kind of fascinating in that way. So, used to have a friend who was Greek. I should try and talk to them again. What a show. Look, I like to find out. I'm terrible because I read books, I see words, and I get like a vague idea of what they mean, but then don't check them until I either want to use them or someone else uses them, and then I go, I should probably actually understand it. So, you triggered my research habit. They just trade for the gardener. No, trade Phantom for the gardener. Do we actually have anything else that's going to be able to trigger the flying on the Phantom right now? I guess the cryptic coat or anything that gets disguised down? Because, yeah, I mean, they straight up trade it. And then they've got... But I guess we've got a backup one, and it lets us attack in more freely, so, yep, I think we do that. I mean, we're out of 2-drop, that already did a lot of work. The Absolving Lamassu. What auspicious meant? Oh, well, I'm glad you do know, because auspicious is such a fantastic word. It's been slightly ruined for me by Desert Bus from like 2 years ago, the charity fundraiser that Loading Ready Run does, when they all changed themselves into weird round fishes from a fish? Fish is plural fish. From a James Bond movie. I think we just take 2 or however much they try and get in. And just kept saying, an auspicious number. It's stuck in my head, but it's a very lovely word. And also very easy to conflate with suspicious, so can understand can understand it taking a while to find out what it means. Okay, so we could... We're absolutely attacking with the Lamassu. We could equip the Haunch to make it a 2-turn clock, and then play out the Phantom. Or we could Hast a Vigilante for better blocks. Egregious? Yes! Egregious is a fantastic word. Pairs very well with heinous as well, I think. Heinous and egregious. But yeah, I think we do this so we have a 2-turn clock. Oh, the old meaning was opposite? Oh, there is a word for words that do that. Or, oh, I might be thinking of a word that, essentially, antonym? No, that just is words that are opposite. There's a word for words that have 2 meanings that are the opposite of each other. I think is what that was getting me thinking about. But yeah, love how language evolves over time in the most delightfully confusing ways. Or at least English. I suspect it happens in other languages because they can be just as silly, but I know at the very least English does some very, very goofy things. Okay. We can't always haunch for life if things get too scary. Attacks as a 3/4. I'm sure they've got some sort of aerial removal. Right? Terrific has terrible as a root. You know, I don't actually know what that root is, but I suspect it probably has something to do with, like, terror or fear. In the same way that, like, awesome is to be awe-inspiring, to be almost overwhelming. So probably, like, terrible, or I guess it wouldn't necessarily be fear, but... Okay! And they did not have the removal. Whew. Alright. I think most of the decks I have drafted have been blue-white. I don't know if I'm actually tracking those statistics at this point, but blue-white has been kind of an, oops, I did it again, but hey, it's working dealio. DJ Glitter. you know, I probably would not go to a party where there was a DJ who went by DJ Glitter. Nothing against the name, just really don't like glitter. It gets everywhere. It's pretty. I like shiny. The little gremlin in my head goes, yay. But I don't like cleaning it up. This is lovely. We've got a consultant into a cryptic coat, into doing some little bits of eidetic memory, I think. I think we'll be fine. Also not me looking up the root word of terrific. There we go. Terrare, to frighten. Ah, okay. So it is related to terror. It's frighteningly good or frighteningly bad. We'll run out the phantom, because a bear that sometimes flies, I think, is simply better. And cryptic coat, I do think... Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, actually, the game will correct me if I'm wrong. I think cryptic coat will trigger the phantom, because it cloaks the creature and then attaches to it. Yes, okay. I mean, not that super mattered, but good to know. Okay. Manifested a land that we really probably could have used. If we don't draw a land next turn, I still think we probably do the eidetic memory. Yeah, we're going to eidetic memory, hopefully draw a land. Should have tapped out the blue source. Auto tapper at it again, because of the cryptic coat. Well, that's unfortunate. We could have gotten down the seasoned consultant, but what you gonna do? That actually hurts us quite a bit, but we'll put it on there and get to just attack in for 4, pretty much for free. Unfortunate, deeply so. So I need to think that extra half a second while hovering over. I need to get into the habit of double checking. I do not think we block. They could be literally anything. And another one. Watch my tipster grow. Okay. So here we do get to run out the seasoned consultant. And I'm almost wondering if we accuse the tipster to deny the mana, and I think theirs is a deck that can make it grow quite large. I think we actually do. Because we now have them dead in 2 turns with the cryptic coat. Okay. Oh, they could have blocked our 2/2. But yeah, I think denying the mana and an actually reasonable body, as silly as that sounds on a 2-drop, I think is somewhat decent. They could play something much scarier, but it pinches them a lot more. Because right now, as long as we keep getting to attack in with the coat... Oh, lovely. We can also... I guess we can't bounce an awful lot. We can bounce the 2-drop. I think this is an awkward situation where we don't play it out. Like, it gets us an extra 4 power, but I think I'm much more scared about them. I think there's a lot more value to keeping this back as a potential blocker. Or keeping this back as a way to bounce stuff, and if they try and untap the tipster for shenanigans, we can shuffle it in. It feels awkward, but I think it's our best shot. They need to do something about the coat. Okay. I do like getting a flyer. We will attack in and see if we win. Okay, they destroy the coat, or try to. We get to bounce it. So we will lose our 3/3 land. I think... Ooh, what do we do here? I think we actually run out the cold case cracker. Uses our mana a bit better. But yeah, I was kind of suspecting that creeper. This way, we can cryptic coat to jump the phantom and probably get through a bit of damage. Okay, going to force a block, probably on the cold case cracker with the vengeful creeper, in which case I think we do actually try double blocking. We get to investigate. So, inside source creates some good blockers. And we run out the cryptic code again. It is a little vulnerable. We get another land, so unfortunately we don't have lethal... Oh, unless we get to crack the clue. So, if they have another vengeful creeper, we're quite sad. If not, we might be in a good position here. But yeah, if we had just run out the coat again, it would have... So they're only attacking with one, so I suspect they have a way to flip it up. Couldn't be the conclave thing. I don't think there's anything that just makes us dead. So I'm going to not block. Okay, that is big and scary. But we've got him. Oh, oh. Wow. Cryptic Coat. Solid card. It's hard to interact with the ward. I mean, it's doable. The set is built around stuff like that. It's hard to interact with the code itself because you can bounce it. And unblockable is really good. Okay, we are up to 3 wins. Alright, Zerdoku. Okay, low and aggressive. I like it. I especially like the private eye. Red herring. Oh no. What can we do against such reckless hatred? I mean, quite literally, it's incredibly reckless. If they load it up with cool auras. No trades. Alright. So we could fly over and go a little wider. But I think we're going to do the private eye. Attack in for 3. Might eat a removal spell, which would be unfortunate. But then next turn we can Phantom and Eidetic Memory. Yes, eats a removal spell. Ugh. Sad days. they might have the beats on us. Okay. I do think let's make this one big, Crundle on in, and see if we can trade our 2-2 for their 3-2. Alright. Probably have some sort of trick here. Nope. Okay. Don't get to do any fun tapping down shenanigans, but I think we... Okay, we've got a 3-3, which can block some big stuff. So maybe... No, because Insight Source we can potentially double spell. I think we do just run out the Hazda Vigilante as a blocker. Oh, they're gonna counter it? No, okay. Alright with that. Not in the best spot, but living. That's rough. Okay. And we're just about dead here. But we do get to Crime Stopper Sprite. We can super tap a Thopter. Going to be a little awkward if we draw our Resurrection spell, but might as well do that and lay out 2 blockers. So we have options here. We aren't just dead because we do have 3 blockers. Thopter does hurt. So we need to block a Thopter. We need to chump and trade. That way we survive at 1. So we're going to be getting attacked with 2 flying creatures next turn. And can't bounce the Thopter. I do think we're just dead, right? Because they can replay the drone. So, Lost in the Maze being powerful. If they didn't have that, we could bounce the Thopter, block the Thopter, and we'd actually be fine at 1. But because of the hexproof, we don't get to do that. The Dramatic Accusation doesn't shut down triggered abilities. Oh wait, but it can shuffle it away? Yeah, okay. We're alive. So we tap it down, and then we can shuffle it anytime, so we let them have a draw. And it's beginning of combat, so... Oh, I thought we had Damn it! I thought we had priority first. I am stupid. We figured it out and tried to managed to try and value ourselves out of a potentially stable situation. With a sinking beginning of combat, declare attackers, we get priority before, but they get to move to combat. We only got priority if they tried to cast a spell. Doing the little anime fist to forehead of embarrassment. Kraith. Okay. This is a curve we've seen before that worked out decently well. Not the second time in the past week that I've... Yeah, because yesterday, figured out the exact line, looked into a list of literary devices and found that I didn't know I'd been using colloquialisms for a long time indeed. Ooh, colloquialisms. Because to be colloquial is, what, somewhat euphemistic, right? Oh, Doi, it's the, not formal. Oh, I'm getting flashbacks, but no, we do not trade here. Yeah, to using more informal language where formal could suffice. I think that's generally speaking, I think that's good overall. There are some times where you like to use more highfalutin language because it serves a purpose, but I'm much unwise at this juncture of writing. It's fun to do stuff like that. Be overly fancy. Okay, so we could... No, because that gets countered. We're not gonna haunch it up. We just double private eye and crundle for 8. So, growing up, I was often told that I used much too fancy language, but it's like, I'm using language that makes sense. But I've tried to tone it down more in recent years. But trying also to not dilute my personality. 10th District Hero. This is an instant. So we could do some goofy stuff. We could also just Crime Stopper Sprite. Tap it down. We're not collecting evidence, but yeah, we just tap it down. And then... haunch it up. Okay. Yeah. Blue-white aggro is... I mean, I guess you've been playing blue-white soldiers in Standard, so... you know the goofiness it can do. Man, okay. Man, there was a, like, literary analysis essay that we were writing back in, I think, 8th grade. And my friend was doing Moby Dick and was talking about diction, and yet refused, categorically, my suggested title for their essay of Moby Diction. And I'm so sad to this day. Axioma. I definitely read that as Ask Skooma for a moment. This is a kind of slow and awkward hand, but I think we mulligan into a worse one, likely. Might be wrong, might be going about this all incorrect, but it's usually not the tone or demeanor that stifles me, but the whirly utterance of topics beyond my comprehension. Whirly utterance. I don't think I quite followed the whirly in that, but I get the general vibe. Just throwing out topics beyond comprehension. You did say yesterday that it was, you were talking a little bit almost, at least to me, what I got out of it. It sounded like sometimes being worried about, sorry, I want to say something, but also trying to think about magic at the same time. Apparently surprisingly difficult. We crundle in with the detective because they aren't going to be able... They just take that block. We traded half a card for a crocodile. Sure thing, buddy. At least it sounded to me what you were saying about why you hadn't necessarily read, the Library of Babel and stuff like that was kind of like, well, you know, if I do read it, that it almost, I guess, relates to, like, a sense of, like, imposter syndrome. That's, again, me projecting some of my difficulties onto it, I suppose. But, just sort of being concerned that other people might think you're interpreting it wrong or whatnot. Yeah. And I mean, you know, take it with a grain of salt from an internet stranger, but you seem more than reasonably intelligent. And no one really knows, there's not a right way to interpret things and all that. Just go for it. Have fun. Some people will disagree with you, but look, I'm an idiot on the internet. I'm saying lots of things. Sometimes people agree with me. There's not a right way to do stuff. Imposter syndrome sucks. I've had to give presentations that I'm deeply not qualified for. That's the only reason I've got something to rely on, is going, I've already been put in, like, the worst nightmare imposter syndrome scenarios. And people... not smart. You know at least 2 languages, which is more than me. You consume some very interesting media. You've taught me a lot of things just from talking. I think you're absolutely smart. It's all relative. Just put yourself out there, have fun. I know that's hard and terrifying, but sometimes not worrying too much is the best way. So I could tap 3 to be able to crack in there. I don't think that's a great idea. Well, that sounded like a follower notif. I'm working on getting that second monitor so I can actually look at things. But hello if there's a new person. Surveillance monitor, I think. Because yeah, I like getting aggressive, but I don't think it does what we want. Whereas this, we can surveil, or collect away the vigilante, make a 1/1, which gives us double blocking options. Oh goodness, 4 viewers. Terrifying. I feel like I'm giving some sort of speech to an assembly. Still have 7 draft tickets to spend? Well, hey, that right there is a good way to build up confidence. I mean, yes, sometimes you'll go on a massacre girl luck streak like I did, but give it a shot. Draft your heart out. Oh, shoot, I didn't... It's on attacks? I thought Kellen was like Trigun Predator. See, perfect example of me not knowing what I'm talking about. I thought it had to connect to destroy stuff. Damn. Yikes. Holy butts. I'm so doomed. Well, at least next turn, I can Karlov Watchdog and inside source the cold case cracker. I mean, hey, we've made 4 wins, we're feeling good, but oh my... Oh. Okay. Yeah, we saw Kellen in the draft. I didn't think we could support it, but I feel vindicated that it is a fantastic card. I do... I was pulling down the game so I could peek at the viewership. I noticed we dropped a viewer in that time. That is valid. I mean, you're not still here to hear it, but I fully support your choices of going away after that type of play. Goodness. We are in a tough spot. I think with the Karlov Watchdog, we probably do... If we get our tap-down spell, probably do hit the Criminologists rather than Kellen, which feels weird. And this is only artifacts. I say as if that makes a appreciable difference. It does in the case of our almost singular removal spell. Yeah, come on in. Technically, we're hitting you for more, even though we're using more mana. Is there anything... We really don't have a good response to this. We want to be the ones doing what they're doing. I guess Private Eye would just make our stuff big enough, or at least would make the Cold Case Cracker big enough to block. Eidetic Memory could also grow it. There are some options. Well, that's just simply unfortunate. Let's draw a card. Ruby Williams, howdy. Happy Tuesday. It is. Oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. This is... I'm doing very well. How about yourself? Well, would be doing better if there wasn't this Kellen on the other side of the board, but we'll make it work. Do. Okay. Thank you much. So, okay, we can use the ability on the Phantom, and so we're still in business. Not in great business, but I'm glad you are. Also, again, thanks for reminding me it's Tuesday. Streaming has been helpful for being aware of the passage of time, but sometimes it gets away. It's cooking in the game. Blue-White Detectives currently with a 4-1 record, but probably just losing to a very, very powerful Kellen. So, we shall see. Call a Surprise Witness is not that great, because we don't have anything in the bin to use. Karlov Watchdog. Creatures I control get +1/+1, which is not enough, so we probably just have to... Ugh. I think we suit up the Market Watch Phantasm. Thank you. Suit up the Phantom. Attack in. They probably trade there. We get it back with Call a Surprise Witness. Yep. Not the best use of it, but hey, it's got permanent flying. Yay. Fortunately, only as a sorcery cannot do that on blocks. Okay. We do not win this race. So yeah, we need to draw something to deal with Kellen, another creature, so that we can potentially race them. I guess a Crime Stopper sprite would actually be kinda sick. Because then we could tap it down, we'd get the ability to attack in. Ah, their own Proph's Eidetic Memory. Man, they still have 6 cards in hand. We are not winning this game, but we're not giving up. Started playing Arena with Love Try. Oh yeah, that's again. I've been very in and out of it. I don't think we're blocking with the Phantom this turn. Call Time was a sweet draft experience. D&D, I loved the vibes. Did not do very well in the draft. And Zendikar Rising, I don't know if I actually did any drafts of, but hey, they do rotate them in sometimes as quick drafts, so you don't get the fun premiere experience, but you can still experience them in some fashion. Cold Case Cracker is probably not going to do it, but we still... Because, well, I guess... No, they will draw a card. Sorry. Putting a pin in that thought. We don't really have an attack here, even if we pump that up. And then... Yeah, I think we're going to end up chumping with the Case Cracker so that we get a clue that might dig us out. This is mighty awkward. Strixhaven was your favorite constructed time to play? Interesting. That's I don't do a whole lot of constructed, so owlins are such fluffy birds. Yes, they are. Owls are just a very good animal. That's, I think, like, almost every Christmas ornament that I have purchased for myself has been some variation on an owl. Because, I mean, I love their symbology, you know, wisdom, all of that fun stuff, Athena. They're great, they're adorable. But yeah, they're cute. When I was doing a questionable Scottish accent. Obsessed, yes and no. It's one that I play on and off, but making a concerted effort to push recently for stream. Yesterday when I was doing a somewhat sketchy, Scottish accent for, Night in the Woods, because there was something maritime, and apparently that reads Scottish to me. It was talking about the Scottish owl that lives around where I do, and for some reason hoots in the daytime, and just, it hoots in the way I imagine an owl, or an owl would if it had a Scottish accent. It's the best way to describe it. It's not a fantastic description, but they are quite lovely. Owlins, Lockstons, Tabaxi, and Kenku are favorite D&D characters? Yes. And we draw nothing. Okay. Good game, opponent. Not to be a furry or anything. Hey, they are cool, fun, anthropomorphic races. Had a friend do a very cool, like, Loxodon Paladin. Unfortunately, they got herded into being a DM, so they didn't get to play it out to completion. But yeah, so this game does definitely take up a lot of mental space, but you're an artist, do Twitch stuff for streamers. Appreciate the offer. Not looking for that at the moment, and I do have some friends that do art that I've already talked to a little bit about doing stuff if I am getting to that point. So, appreciate the offer, but don't think I'm going to be the business person you're looking for. Sure, you do great art, though. That's something I'm currently working on, some art for myself, because it started with pixel art a while back, and never actually learned some of the fundamentals. All good. So, if you enjoy art, you can... I don't know when I'll be streaming it next, but you can watch me stumble through the beginning building blocks every once in a while. Still working on getting the VODs up from last week, because I'm getting into that rhythm, but should be there at some point. A-Sprite is pretty good. Yep. That's the one I use for all the pixel art. Got all of the animation stuff right in there. And then for traditional art, I used to use Clip Studio Paint because I got a little Wacom drawing tablet that came with a free license for it. Unfortunately, while the license was perpetual and transferable, it was transferable twice. So, no longer have access to the super fancy software, but a lovely artist friend of mine turned me on to Krita, which is some fantastic free drawing software that has most of the bits and bobs that I need, so been having fun with that. There was a brief dark year there where I was trying to make GIMP work, and don't try and make GIMP work. I think we just took 3. Like, we've got an unblockable threat, and Cold Case Tracker is gonna be a much better blocker. Ooh, we might even Karlov Watchdog. Let's see what they do. Shock our thing for 3. No. Karlov Watchdog is more damage, but I'm very worried about the Galvanize or whatnot, and I would like something that also blocks, so let's run that out. They still might Galvanize it, but I think this shuts down their aggression better, while also serving to develop our own board. Suspect the herring, I assume? Do it. No. They want me to block the fish. Well, I'll block the phantom, and they're gonna play... Ooh, no, it's the +2/+2 combat trick. Like, if they attack with only the herring, I'd be fine, but... I'm now getting the awful sneaking suspicion that that combat trick untaps things, and I've just made a grave mistake. But we're going for it. Nope, okay. Karlov Watchdog. This turn, I might block, even though it kind of hurts. Just because they're at... It's 5 damage. We can chip through a lot better than they can. Like, we've got multiple threats that are almost lethal. And I don't know what they could have. So, yeah, we'll block. Even if it's awkward. Ooh, that is very true. Felonious Rage. No. Big Anthem. Okay. So, do you have another 3 damage with 1 mana? No. Oh! You were very right. Oh, my heart. Okay. At least had a good read on when to block. Okay. Kaido, Dancing Shadow. Have not seen this one before. That's 1. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may return one of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you may activate loyalty. Okay, so... kind of Planeswalker Ninjutsu. Up to 1 target creature can't attack or block until your next turn, so detain a creature. 0, draw a card. And then -2, 2/2, colorless, draw an artifact creature token with Death Touch, and when it leaves the battle. What the hell? I haven't seen this played before. That seems like that'd be kinda decent in a control shell. I mean, 0 to draw a card is fine. It's got the sort of Jace nullify something by detaining. And it makes a pretty good blocker that also gets some value if you wrath it away. I don't do control, but I'm surprised that I have not been facing that down on the other side of the field. Trognarak. I sense a discrepancy between our lands and that. I think I've seen it played together with Tasha as a control asset? Okay. That makes sense. It feels reasonable, but I haven't bumped into it. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't been playing good decks that I've been making myself, where I get to see interesting ones and not what everyone else is playing. I think we keep. I almost hit mulligan to keep because this was a mulligan. I think we ship off the land because we can cast what we've got, and we're really looking for a blue for that anyway. Oh, would you look at that, Magic Gods? RN Jesus to the rescue. It would be too much to ask for like a 3-drop, say the Cloak, for example. 2-drop. Make an otter deck? Hey, if I had like any Wilds of Eldraine cards, I would. It looks sweet. It really reminds me of the like Sorensen Tempo deck, which kind of plays out like these decks do in Limited, which I love. Just creatures with interaction. Beautiful. I don't think I might have 1 otter, but we will see. Basically, I draft a set completion, and then I crack couple, I think it's probably going to be like 150 packs, and then I'll have some wild cards to play with. That said, I think, I hate to say it, I might be working on building some goofy timeless stuff, because, I mean, come on, there's Rhystic Study in there. There's Necropotence. How could I not? The otters are amazing, they're adorable, but power. Okay. Bouncing it does kind of shut me down for a turn, but we'll attack. You draft with gold if... I typically just, whenever I get enough gold, I just pay it in. Oh, they've got the counterspell? Oh, no. No! I got. Um, it's... I don't really use the gold for anything other... I don't use the gold for anything, so I just... It's extra draft material, so... Yeah. So, yes, in short, I do use gold if I'm low on gems. I also use gold if I'm not low on gems. Gold is simply worse gems that I can farm for free. Well, got a lot of blockers that next turn can crundle in as 3/3s. I think this might be where this run ends, but... we're representing something somewhat menacing. Not actually menacing, though. I guess their exit specialist is the only one that is, but... Gleaming Gear Drake feels like it's got some goofy potential. A lot of the Drakes always feel fun, but like I could see something with this and like Crime Novelist and the rare 2/3 that makes things a bit cheaper. I haven't bought anything for real money since Wizard decided that I now have to pay in euros. Oh, that is frustrating. Wonder why that... Wonder why they decided that. I'm sure it's some sort of currency conversion dealio, but... frustrating. That's very frustrating. I know that currency conversion and doing business overseas, there's different regulations and all that, but it's frustrating when that gets put on the consumer. Goodness, so I bounced something here. Probably bounce the 3/2, even though it can do some tappy shenanigans. And I think I just crundle in for 9? Our blocks aren't great. I recently saw something, apparently, Twitch is no longer doing monetization in South Korea, it looks like, because the way they've got their ISPs set up, you're always paying for the internet traffic. You can't just buy something, host there, and get free exchange fees because you're actually helping run part of the infrastructure, apparently. Even if you're doing a setup like that, they still make you pay. Which sucks. That's super frustrating. I understand, on some level, corporate protectionism, but still sucks. Oh, I am simply dead. Okay. I don't think we were... If we blocked, I don't think we were winning that game either. We would have just been chumping and we didn't have enough to push through. So, alright. That was a 5-win deck? Still quite respectable. Dun dun dun. Pop that in my draft calculator real quick. Where are we sitting? 0 mythics. That was 2 rares in the draft. 5 wins, 3 losses. Currently at 58% win rate in the format. And on track to have rare completion in another 28.4 premier drafts and have paid 35 gems a pack. Feels good. So we've got another 25-ish minutes. Take a quick look at whether or not I have otters, but then I think I will do a bit of grinding upon the good old standard wheel. So, oh, these are all card sleeves. Most sad. Well, okay, I guess I don't have a great Rakdos sleeve. So, we'll work on towards that, I suppose. So, do I have any otters? This is my question. Can I make your utterly ridiculous deck? Ha 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 ha. Otter. I have a singular otter. So, not completely off, but for the future, that would be most of my rare wildcards. And I don't know what I have to support it, because I also don't have a lot of the Eldraine cards, but we will see, we will think. What I'm currently working on, I'm tinkering a bit more with the root deck, because I ran into someone on the ladder when I was doing a couple of quick games last night, who was running, what was it, the Aftermath Analyst, to do some pretty fancy ramp with all of the self-mill, making it feel even more dredgy. And rather than the 3-2 that, if you've got the 4 Descent, gets to bring something back, the Colossal Sky Turtle, which you can eventually cast off of all of your little tokens, but it's also sweet because the channel ability, which you can use to get back the Insidious Roots, is an ability, and therefore a lot harder to counter if you're getting it back. I think my version is definitely hurting by not having the more teachings of the Kirin. I think that is a very fantastic one, but still want to noodle around with this and see how it goes. Eaten Alive has been fantastic, by the way. That was an amazing suggestion. I had a mull to 4 against the Domain deck, and I do think I lost, but it was, I think I got them down to 4, and it's just they were able to destroy my Insidious Roots and kind of hard lock me, but it was impressive. Alright, we shall keep this and go digging for the roots. I think we lead with Takenuma, just because we do take a lot of damage off the Llanowar Wastes. Oh, that's an old crunchy sound effect. I think we attack in for 1, run out the Scrap Gorger, get the, again, non-painful mana. Although, we would have to exile our own Dream Thief. Oh, well, what do you know? An Insidious Roots. So we will Roots, and then we will Butler. We do have to exile our own Dream Thief, which is a little awkward at the moment, but we will make it work. Had a downright duly defeat day in Standard today. Just couldn't get a win. Lost your first 6 games. I feel that. I haven't had that recently, but that's when I was streaming a lot of the Standard the first week. That's... I know the feel. Sorry to hear it, but it's all a game of statistics, right? You're getting the losses out early, so you've got a win streak coming sometime down the line, right? Oh goodness, that's a recruiter. Well, okay, so I could Tyvar, and that will help me get double trigger. I think we can survive an Imodane. An Imodane's recruiter attack. Get back. Got to Plat 2, then fell back to Plat 3 again. Yep. That's, I think, I can't remember, I think I'm at Plat 3, just on the cusp of Plat 2 right now. It's a little Ferris wheel. Oh shoot, it goes to the battlefield. How did I not remember that? Well, let's put a counter on the Geist. Let us exile a Gorehound. No, it is a numbers game, and oh, okay, they will just concede. Okay, so I managed to claw my way back up to platinum too, but yeah, it's rough. It's also, the standard is very tough to navigate right now because there's a huge influx of new cards, and you can't rely on the same old standbys anymore. But things are still run the one of demonic intent. I did cut it. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's actually quite good, but I'm trying and seeing how this runs, focusing more on the mill and retrieval rather than going searching for stuff. Um, I don't think it's a bad include, but I think it's I need to wait and see, but I think the turtle probably fits better because while the tutor does find everything and the sacrifice is often beneficial, I think the benefit of the turtle being a creature that we can exile and being uncounterable, and potentially even just being something we can play out, I think it does more and is kind of fulfilling the same role for us. Um, because we have a lot of mill to churn through our deck and hopefully get the roots in the the graveyard. Yes, that turtle, the colossal one. Ouch. Yeah. Llanowar Wastes, very good for the mana base. Very painful. Oh, the Simic one. Oh, yeah. No. Not Wild of Eldraine. Just Simic from, Neon Dynasty. I guess there's also the new Simic one in Murders at Karlov Manor. That's also got some elk and whatnot in it. Yeah, what you gonna take? I don't actually have anything to pop off right now. Just got double roots and praying for something that will mill. That's a reasonable one, I think. Hey, it's like a Shockland, but paying over time. Yerp yerp. Shockland Mortgage, I suppose. Okay, Undead Butler. So we're going to get to pop off a little bit this turn because we... Yep. We can get back probably the Analyst because it mills more. So we Eaten Alive, we sacrifice a creature, get their bat, ping ourselves, sacrifice the Butler, and then we exile it, and we'll get 4 little planty triggers. Make a board, kill their thing, get back our removal spell. And that was our turn 3. Yeah, Insidious Roots can... Or, no, our turn 4, I suppose. But, yeah, that's just... That's messed up. I mean, temporary lockdown just ruins our deck, right? It's not like... I don't think this is going to become some absolute titan of the format that will have people... Well, I'm sure that people will cry out for bans and whatnot. But I don't think it's going to... I don't think it's going to be totally format defining. But it's certainly good. But there are plenty of responses. I'm guessing that Terra Sunder is being run almost exclusively to deal with that, but I guess it also hits other people's virtues. We will ping ourselves for 1. Yep. We'll do 1 there. And... I think we even do this one. I guess I shouldn't be putting on the Analyst because we'll probably be sacrificing it sooner rather than later. So that's quite a bit of damage. So they need a Wrath? I guess they could Path of Peril? Gix's command, but we've got plenty of big ones left, so... Grundle. Alright. I Google, I suppose? That I say, and my Android phone tries to search things for me. Valduvian Berserker. Enlist. Intriguing. Just gotta keep rooting for this card. Badump crash. Ian McIntyre. Oh, I was looking at them, like, I said that very confidently, but I think that is right. The lack of capitalization often gets me. So we can Gorehound, Butler, and we've got a turtle already in hand, the Colossal Sky Turtle. Gorgeous floating boy. I do find the shell very weird. Like, is that... I don't know, it looks very incongruous with the rest of the turtle. Almost wondering if it's like a flying machine on top. Oh. Well, I think we do still run out the Butler first, but we can put out the Insidious Roots next turn and probably even get some value off it. Nah. Okay, not any immediate value. Didn't mill something that exiles itself for cheap, but getting there. So we might even hold off, potentially. Yeah, I think we attack in. Maybe I should have done the Maverick first in case they killed the Gorehound. But we will play the Maverick and keep holding on to the roots for the time being. Wastes, Butler. Willowgeist, I think we do actually want. Deduce. Okay. I assume this is blue-white control with that anchorage. I'm guessing they're just trying it out? Or do they have a good use for it? Do not know. Geist? We should be very afraid of the Geist. I'm very afraid of a temporary lockdown. But we'll try. Counterspell? Ah, they knew! Oh, and it exiles it, so we can't even turtle it back. For shame. But we've got our janky little beatdown, and double turtle. Whenever I say double or triple, I always want to do it in the, like, Halo-esque announcer voice. Double turtle. Got a Wandering Emperor that you don't want to use on any of our poor, sad little creatures.
Run away. You'll be safer.
Okay.
We must protect the people.
We might turtle back one of the butlers to grow the Geist a bit.
Watch for intruders.
And I don't think the butler is bad to have. But we are certainly... I don't think we're winning this one. I think control is from Unreal Tournament. Okay. That's I have somewhat best game epic ever made. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with a lot of things, if you haven't noticed from watching me. But I do try and take a look at them afterwards, and learn things. Okay, Scrappy George, there we go. Unlike Fortnite. Never played Fortnite, but I have certainly heard less than stellar things. Ooh, okay, we've got one in the bin. So we can work on that next turn. We've done almost as much damage to ourselves as we have to them. Yup. I think we just try and kill the Emperor. I mean, they can eat some of our stuff, but we're kind of happy for it to get eaten. Unless they fare well. Yeah. We still get 1 damage through. We draw land, we even get the production value of it is ludicrously high, but it ain't got any charm. Feels bloated and obese, IMO. Fair enough. That's... I have seen a couple of gameplay clips of it. It looks like... So it's a battle royale that also has a building element, which, I don't know, that just really is not my speed. If I'm gonna be doing battle stuff, I want to do battle stuff, not doing a bunch of building at the same time, I guess. We're not going to do the butler trick at the moment. We will gain life. We started out as a zombie survival with building. Okay. I can get behind that. Like, play a survival game? I can play a survival thing. Although, I am terrible because I get really bogged down with, like, big inventory mechanics. And Battle Royale thing Majig came and revolutionized the genre. Yeah, like, PUBG? PUBG looks fun. Because it's focused on the scavenging aspect of it. There's not a bunch of building and doesn't... I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as goofy. Okay. Bring on back the roots. Why did it tap like that? Oh, the auto tapper is going to be the death of me. So we are not playing it out this turn. Minecraft's Hunger Games? Man, never played, but I have fond memories of, like, oh, who was it? Bajan Canadian and ASF Jerome? Oh, wow. You've unlocked some horrifying memories. Gunsy always drafting. Hey, I like to try and do a draft a day, although this is currently standard, so don't you worry. Doing some more stuff with the Roots deck, but feeling like we've probably been pretty darn well locked down by this control deck. Tried cutting the tutor and a... oh, I forget what else I cleared out. Oh yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I need to figure out a good way, because I guess you can change the stream title mid-stream, but not the game you're playing, right? Still learning some of that. Here, let me see. Can I edit stream info? MKM draft. Insidious Roots standard. Come say hi. Okay, you can up. Good to know. I will keep that in mind for the future. Now, had a lovely, yeah, had a lovely 5/3 blue-white detective draft. But yeah, this going somewhat less well. At Pro's control, I didn't face a single red aggro deck in the first 6 games, only when I played rank, only to mirror control and that stuff. Oh no. Yeah, it seems that whenever you play a deck that's going to be doing well, if you're geared up for a control battle, you'll only face aggro and vice versa. I don't, not saying matchmaking is rigged or any of that stuff, but that's just kind of the natural law, right? I think that happens in paper too. It's whatever you're ready for, it's not going to be what you're going to actually get to fight.
Remember your training.
I guess I could have not searched the land so that I could get the double Insidious Roots, but don't know. We do play out the first Roots. I'm sure they veto it or something along those lines. No more lies. No, okay. Then we can Rebel Belt Maverick. Gonna destroy it. Oh, do they have the map? March. Oh, you can march into... Ugh. I wonder if this deck might have legs in like Timeless or Explorer or whatever format you can do the Sterling Grove in. Might be goofy. But I think we take that, and then we can pile on, destroy the Wandering Emperor. This is a fancy stack. Ah, okay. Got the No More Lies. But we do get a 4/5, which they can double block. Or chump. Also works. I think they've got us. I don't think that's a secret, but... I don't think I have ever played a control deck on Arena, and I need to build my collection into it at some point. Just because because I haven't played it, I don't have as good of an understanding of what they are and aren't looking for. I'm very used to the patterns of losing against it, but I'm not used to the patterns of losing with it. So I think getting to know my enemy would be a very good use. Sunfall and Wandering are starting to become long in the tooth? Yes, they are. Because Wandering Emperor will get to see finally rotate out in September, right? But Sunfall is going to be around for quite some time still. Sunfall is honestly very messed up. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I am definitely on... Again, I don't do a whole lot of Constructed, so my opinions are probably not fantastic. I am a fan of not banning stuff a great deal, more so than Meat Hook Massacre. That's fair. I'm generally in favor of not banning stuff too terribly much, but, you know, it's Meat Hook Massacre, destroy all instead of exile all. Yeah, it's exiling and it creates a huge body. Make it Shelly Solstice Fest once it gets rid. Yep. But, yeah, got our roots. Sad, sad. But, I don't know. Meat Hook Massacre, I think you can honestly say was format warping. There were a lot of people that were going into black, there were a lot of decks that weren't otherwise in black that were playing Meat Hook. The Sunfall, you see in Domain, and then the couple of control variants, but there's still lots of aggro decks running around and doing quite well. I think Sunfall is a messed up card. I don't think it's warped the format necessarily, but I don't know. It's, again, I don't play a huge amount. I just do it for grinding dailies when I'm out of my drafting currency. But generally in favor of not banning stuff unless it's absolutely 100% necessary. We really don't have a way to steal it. Oh, actually, I forget that Boseiju also hits flying? Oh no, it doesn't. I just made that up because I wanted myself to have made more of a mistake than I had. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I also think that getting rid of things that completely hose an archetype, just because they hose the archetype, isn't necessarily where it's at, but I don't know. It's, again, I'm still relatively new to figuring out how the ecosystem of a constructed format goes, so we'll see. My baseline inclination of the decks I run, yeah, I absolutely want to see Sunfall banned, but the part of me that's game design is like, I think it's fine. Like, they don't always draw it. It feels like they do, but they don't always draw it. It's pretty big when it does, but it doesn't hit enchantments. Farewell, I think, is often more frustrating, but does Brothers War also leave the rotation in November? I don't know. I feel, because it's supposed to be a 3-year rotation, or it's a 2-year rotation, and we're just kind of in an awkward 3 space right now. Because Brothers War was recently. Depopulation into Sunfall, into Farewell, into Sun's Twilight. Yeah. Have you seen the 36 Wrath deck that Saffron Olive put together? Because that is... yes, it is. But the thing is, even though I am on the more aggro side, I've also seen people say the exact same thing about, you know, some very good aggro curves back when Naya Runes was a thing. Oh, I saw so many complaints about that. And people were talking about banning pieces where I'm like, I'm just bopping around with my green-white enchantments deck. Let me Hollowed Haunting all over. But, I don't know, it's not something I've given a great deal of thought to. And I think it's something that's very difficult for me to have a well-formed, cogent opinion on, mostly because I understand I'm emotionally invested in not running into another Sunfall or goddamn Farewell. So, don't know. But Sunfall, I definitely think, is an important enough card for it to be in that discussion. Yeah. I do think Bats is a fairly format-defining card, which is kind of interesting to me, but I mean, there is so much. I think there are a lot of decks that are able to work because Bats exists to be kind of filling 2 different roles at once. I don't think it's bannable, but I do think I think it's very much shifted how people have to think about stuff. Tempted to run Curse of Silence. Is that the one where you get to pick something and just make it cost a bit more? Curse of Silence. I cannot type on my phone. Okay, yeah. Don't think I have. I might have done that. Yeah. I think I've done it in Brawl before, in a kind of awful, cheeky tax you, ruin your evening type thing. But to mess up meta decks, yeah, just name their thing and tax it. That seems fun. That's at some point. I'm hoping that by streaming, I can use this as an excuse to more consistently be playing Arena, and hopefully get to the point where I've got a sufficient collection to not only build a lot of the meta decks and mess around with them, find out how they work, but also hopefully start building fun ones that prey on things. Love to get Nevermore into Arena? Yeah. That's... I think... did Ghostly Prison make it onto Arena with Karlovmanor? Curse of Silence, Invasion of Gobakon, Anointed Peacekeeper? Yep. I think Ghostly Prison made it onto Arena. I'll need to double check. I know it was one of the special guests, because I just... Yeah, I would love to build a very, like, prison-y deck that's just goofy. Play some Thalias, play Redane is a card I'm a big sucker for. Not the front side, though. I love the shield side.
Think you can win.
New stats piece from Markov Manor.
Has to leave.
Trying to remember the white rare. Ooh. I'm blanking on it. But on the bright side, I'll be able to look it up in the collection real quick here soon. Yep, we'll scoop it on up so we can take a quick look. I was running some of the mono white humans, and man, they are not feeling anywhere near as good in comparison to the Boros aggro. They're kind of too slow, and the control is feeling pretty bad still as well. Doorkeeper. Oh, Doorkeeper Thrall. Yes. Kind of forgot about that one because we've seen, yeah, right there, this little boy. Because we've got there's also Hushbringer and the Tocatli Honor Guard, I think they are, that are basically the same effect. But Hushbringer only does... Hushbringer's lifelink. This, I do think, is probably better, because you can flash it in response. That might make it good enough, because those other ones aren't fantastic, but you still run them. I just also find that a lot of the decks where I want to be running stuff like this, a lot of the good cards that help fill out the gaps rely on ETB triggers, so that's more of a fallback in my own deck building, though. I was watching someone the other day, I guess I should also, Mythics. I was watching someone run, oh, why do I forget her name? Gosh darn it, I feel terrible. I'm terrible with names. It'd be interesting to see it as a backup to Elish Norn. Oh yeah, because the, that Elish Norn, the... which I have heard some folks from LRR called the Panharmomicon, also shuts down their stuff, right? So yeah, I could see that. I was watching someone do a Massacre Girl mono black deck. Let's actually... I think I've got like one more game in me. Down one because I didn't take that copy yesterday. And hey, it worked out, right? But doing Massacre Girl with a lot of, Drown in Ichor. No, that's not the card. Just Ichor. Oh, Massacre Girl and Toxrill? Just nuke the board and all the cards? Fantastic. Oh, it's because I still have it set to not Markov. God damn it, Johan. Karlov. But doing like Drown in Ichor. And just a bunch, basically all of your removal being minus. So you just draw a bunch of cards whenever you kill things. Seemed pretty sweet. I don't have enough Gix, I think, to make it really work, but... No, I should, Deep Cavern. I do also, I mentioned the other day, the 4-bat 56 land sort of roguelike deck builder run. I want to try that. I might just do that on my own, record it, and put it up on YouTube, because I imagine it's going to be slow and boring for a while, so uh, just sort of do it as a more chill thing and clip out the slow bits. The Neon Dynasty Black Saga that does that too. The Life of Toshiro Umezawa. I think she was also running that. This one, Life of Toshiro, because it's got the Umezawa's Jite. Yeah. I think that's pretty sick. Like, I'm definitely, I think you want the extra Gixes. I think you want the extra virtues that I don't have the wild cards for. But then I'm sure that you run some Sholdred. Gix's command isn't gonna do it, right? Because yeah, that just destroys stuff, but it helps you recycle creatures, maybe? Refuse to put Sholdred in any deck. That's fair. She is quite powerful. I think, speaking of other cards that kind of warp formats, I don't know. I'm a sucker for mid-range value, so even though I know she's real annoying, I like her. I'm a sellout. Only do it for Brawl. Now I feel like a monster. Yeah, $80 for the real card is a problem. I only do it because I have not touched paper Magic cards in a long time. Actually, I should fix that. I've got my collection that's been sitting unloved forever. Just open up a deck box real quick. Oh god, that is so much dust. Bits that are going to work better if I ever actually do a webcam, but... Oh, hey! There's that Kozilek right on top. Oh my... Oh, is this my really stupid... No, okay, it's just a pile. It's like, is this my really stupid Tron deck that was doing, like, 8-post? God. But okay, there, I fixed it. I have touched a paper Magic card, but I have certainly not touched a paper Magic card that has come out in the past 4 years, so... That's the only reason I can still feel good about that Sholdred. Don't think I actually have an Eye of Ugin. It was funny. Back when I was doing that with my play group, who has since moved on to other things, was very willing to spend on big splashy fun payoffs, but not on the mana base. Cloud Post was cheap enough, but Eye of Ugin, at least when I was looking, was I think over $5. I'm like, can't abide by that, even if it would be good. So, okay. Let's just minus X. Is there any other... Oh, you know what she was running that I don't have, but I think is probably really crucial? She was running the new, case of the skeleton. Oh, where is it? Case of the Stashed Skeleton. So this probably don't actually want to build it until I get that, so might just wrap it up. But this with Massacre Girl is fantastic. Because if you don't have Massacre Girl, you just keep running in with this. But then sell it for up to 500 and foil pristine kit. Okay, yeah. I was saying $5 because I couldn't actually remember the price, but yeah, that's because it might have gotten reprints since then, but yeah, it was it's not like there's a whole lot of Eldrazi sets for reprintability. But it's sick because, I mean, it's basically a 2-mana, 2/1 menace attacker, so just kind of gets in, and if they kill it, you sacrifice it, you go find your Massacre Girl, which you really kind of need. Fantastic. Love it. Amazing. And if you already have Massacre Girl, now, not only do they not really want to kill the skeleton, they do end up blocking it because they have to. It shrinks their creatures, which is amazing. So I think that is probably a very crucial bit of it. I think a lot of the so that would bring us up to 48. You probably want the other Gixes, the fourth Massacre Girl, and the other two Shouldreds, so that would be another 6 cards. Oh, and the other so that's only sort of 4 cards of flex slots once you figure that out. Not sure what else you would want to play in those 4 slots. But I mean, it's basically just remove your stuff dot deck, I draw cards, and slowly outvalue you. Um, it looks gross. It looks gross in a fantastic way. That's going to make people cry a lot. Which, look, I'm all about friendship. I like being nice, but sometimes in Magic, you just got to get the value that makes people sad, because other people play the value that makes you sad. So it all works out. Kumbaya. Um, But yes, I forgot about that being a kind of crucial aspect of it. So I think, here, we'll just name it massacregirl.deck. And now I'm very much agreeing with Cholera that, man, wish that we could get a Massacre Girl avatar. Massacre Girl. Oh, do it like Riot Girl? Girl.deck. There we go. And we'll come back to it. We'll get there eventually.
Good news, everyone. I've
Sure
arrived.
thing. Save it up. And think we will call it for Magic for today. Had a good draft run, had a much more middling, has this even moved? Much more middling run with Standard, but it was a short time, just messing around with Insidious Roots. Once we get set completion with Karlovmanor, we'll hopefully be able to do some more fun, gross stuff there. But we're going to call it for Magic. Had a blast. Thank y'all for showing up. It's always fun. And hopefully see some of y'all later for Night in the Woods, which I think today will be the last day. We'll find out. Have a good one. Bye.